It cleaned it up anyways for Beth, and Susan's here now, so.
Perfect.
Good morning.
Hello, Pat.
Joe, I see some metal.
Well, you see cable.
A cable, yes. Looks like, yeah, a cable.
Yes. I don't, my machine isn't as good as Andy's to be able to have an icon, or I'm not as talented enough to do it.
None of us are talented enough like Andy. Yeah, I'm not. I had problems signing in, and
Yeah, I know. I saw you. I didn't know what it was, but yeah, I saw.
good morning, Susan.
Good morning.
I can barely hear you.
Well, maybe my volume is down here, huh?
Much better now. Much better.
Okay.
With Catherine, Dexter, LaRon, Glenn, and Mr. Napier's coming in shortly. We called Catholic Family Charities to come in and talk to us. Much better, Joe, much better. And they couldn't make it today. So we're going to talk about some collections. And Section 8 will be coming in shortly. They have some new programs they're going to let us know about.
You know, Pat, I was listening to something last night, and it's not Rochester, it's in California, but their concern was, of course, that tends to set a trend. But California's passed a new law on rent. If someone is paying 25% of the rent, you can't evict, you have to accept it. And the 75% balance is an unsecured loan that you can try to collect.
You gotta love how they can interfere with private enterprise, private ownership, how they can make government rule. Now, if it's government housing, fine. We're not government housing. Did you also hear from California for Thanksgiving? You can't sing and only have people over. No singing, no chanting. And if you have guests over, they have to leave in 2 hours. You should see what the governor of California is proposing. So maybe that will be coming soon too. Oh, okay. But every day something else comes out, you know.
I should just change that. Yeah. Yeah, she was the woman that was certainly has done well for herself, but you know, they said they bought she's a good whatever now. She does notes, does a lot of notes, but they bought a $200,000 house in California, whenever it was, and when they sold it, it was $4 million. So they started investing.
That's some nice appreciation there.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I spoke to an investor yesterday that we still got a lot of people coming in from out of town that want Rochester. And I believe it's still a seller's market right now. But this person has rental property elsewhere. And I always like to hear stories as far as other parts of the country, what stuff goes for, the return and so forth. And she's got a single family home in San Antonio. And in San Antonio, the home cost $113,000 and her rent is $1,300. So $113,000 house, rents $1,300. It's like a B area, and the total taxes are about $3,100 a year. So I didn't think that was horrible. I definitely think we beat it here, but it wasn't horrible. So,
Actually, I'm surprised the tax is that high in Texas, in San Antonio. Of course, San Antonio is a little more, but
well, for
the-
B area, yeah, she said the taxes were high. I'm like, well, it's not too bad. What we got here, you know.
but what did I have? I forget, but you know, it was like taxes. Well, this one I'm holding the note on. It's I think her tax is under $1,000. It's something like $700 complete. That's it.
You know, that's a huge factor, and we're jealous of other parts of the country.
Yeah, I had when I had the properties in Florida, it was the tax was low and everybody was going, you know, oh, the tax is so low. I was going, yeah, but I'm paying the insurance cost is so high, so it just
That's right.
on a PITI it was cash, but on a it just depends upon which line it was on. It didn't the dollars wound up being about the same.
Right. Right. Section A, I texted Mark Mantione. They're going to be in around 9 o'clock this morning. Susan, did you want to start this? Any general announcements?
Well, the biggest general announcement is that Tom Zeeb will be with us tonight at the general meeting that starts at 7 o'clock. And he'll be talking about rapid cash generation and the fact that he has a full day seminar from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday. And that is also online, and people can attend that. There is an extra charge for that, $20 for members and $29 for non-members, but you can bring a guest for free. So sign up for that. I'm looking forward to that, and we'll get a little preview of what he's talking about and his expertise tonight at the general meeting. It's about the Christmas party. It's probably not going to happen this year because of all that's going on in the spikes in COVID that are happening every day at record numbers. I still can't believe it's going so high. And restaurants are closing, and you won't be able to have more than 10 people in a room at the same time for any length of time. So and that's about it on the FFREIA front. We still have our 5 meetings a month online, and getting together and at least seeing each other's faces and being able to continue the conversations and the questions and the answers is amazing. I'm very impressed that there are so many that are still connecting this way, and there are some who prefer online because they can make it. So that's it for me. I don't know if Joe has something else he wants to say.
No, actually you covered the Tom Zeeb tonight and Saturday, and yeah, I'm looking forward to what he has to say also, since this thing is rapid cash, 60 days from start to receiving a check. You know, so that's pretty good. But that was all I had, really. Let's see, what else do we have? Of course, today's the 12th, yeah. And next Thursday evening would be the alternative meeting.
Now that's another thing to mention too, is that because we are headed into holiday season, regardless of COVID, there will be no evening landlord support group meetings in November or December. The next one will be in January, and because it runs right into the holidays. So see you next year for the morning group or the evening group.
Evening group, yeah. Yeah, I had a meeting last night, and somebody thought that for the 1 and 2 in 2 weeks, I guess, it'd be nice to have dinner or whatever, Thanksgiving. And I'm thinking, what are you talking about? They're not going to have this meeting on Thanksgiving Eve. So.
All right. Why don't we start? Hi, Mark. Mark joined us with Rochester Housing Authority. Why don't we start with Mark? I think maybe from the inspection side, you might have some news. And is Jaquetta with you as well for the admin part?
Yeah, I don't see her. I don't see her signed on yet. Let's if we can do something else, let's let her give her a minute to get on here. I know she's had a pretty busy morning, and just give us a minute here. We'll see if she joins on. If not, I can do it. Okay.
No problem. No problem.
Thank you.
Bob, are you with us? Bob, unmute yourself. All right, we'll stand patient for Bob. Colleen, before I get started, Colleen, I know we didn't speak about this previously, but I think we always like to hear. Oh, Bob, you here?
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. Bob, do you want to start?
No, I think you go ahead. You got it.
Okay.
Just one other announcement though. Not sure it was clear that we are having a Zoom session next month, and Steve Peterson will be our featured guest. So just wanted everybody to know, and Steve's also asked if anybody can prepare questions in advance to either send them to Pat or myself. So I think that's all I have to say for the moment. Looking forward to today's session.
Good. And I think that will lead into it because we're going to talk about collections in the second half, and having Steve next month for follow-up, I think will be good because, as we know, the courts, depending on who's sitting for 6 or 7 weeks, however long they sit, each judge is different, and we're getting cases thrown out for just stupid things. So I think Steve can clarify next month, which would be really good. Back to Colleen. I always want to know about the market, and you're out there 7 days a week, not lately, but you're out there quite a bit. And what's your general synopsis still as we're mid-November, what you're seeing out there?
Well, we've seen a little bit of a slowdown, but when I say a little bit of a slowdown, instead of, 24 offers, we're having 12 offers on a house. In terms of residential property. In terms of investment property, we're still kind of pretty stable along the way. It's, we've got a good mix of people who are just tired and getting out of the business because this was their last straw. But then we've got a good mix of people who are like jumping full throttle into it because their circumstances changed and they feel real estate's a better investment for them. So we're maintaining in the investment property arena, which is really nice to see. But that being said, a lot of challenges with tenants and showings and not paying rent. And we're having to get a little bit creative on how to get things closed when you've got a tenant in there and nobody knows when the tenant's going to be removed and they haven't paid rent for a year. So, it's good to have attorneys that are creative with us, like Steve Peterson. He's wonderful about helping us figure out a solution to a problem. And, it's just kind of trying to make it work for everybody in these kind of unpredictable situations.
Definitely. And for those of you that are selling homes or buying homes, you probably ran into a little glitch with some tenants and coming and going, and oh yeah, you can come tomorrow, then you can't come tomorrow, and so those things are happening. Of course, with the COVID stuff, we got to be mindful of that. So, but I agree too. I'm having some investors call up; they just want to dump cash here.
Yeah.
And they're not afraid of what's going on. Others are waiting to early next year because they want to jump on opportunities. And one guy that I had just bought stuff recently because he doesn't want to wait any longer. So it seems to be people from downstate and people out west that just want to park their money somewhere. And so, I mean, that's good news for us. Locally, it's
Oh,
all
yeah.
good news. It's all business for us. It trickles down. So
I
I'm
had
pretty
a-
happy.
I had a seller or an owner, an investor of mine who bought 5 properties from me about 6 or 7 years ago now. And his properties were like $30,000 properties, nothing really significant. He called me up because he said, "What's going on over there? I decided I wanted to buy some more houses and now everything's like 50, 60,000. What happened?" And I'm like, "Now's the time to sell if you want to get rid of your houses and make a lot of money." And he goes, "No, I'm making a lot of money renting them, but I want to buy more." And I said, "Well, you're not going to be able to buy them at the prices you were able to buy them at 6 years ago. Sorry." You know, our market really has the value of the properties has skyrocketed compared to any other time before. I mean, I've been doing this 35 years and I've never seen houses in the neighborhoods that I sell houses in sell for as much as they're selling for. So I'm really happy to see it.
And I think it's really rare. I still buy homes in the 20s and 30s. They're not rent ready. You know, they don't need $5,000. I'm putting 20 to 30 to 35 into them to pass all the inspections and have it, you know, no health and safety issues. So some of the people that get lucky buying for 25, 30, put 5 into it, rent it. You know, I'm sure there's some deferred maintenance at some point.
Oh yeah.
You know, so Mark, I think Jaquetta's here as well. I don't want to hold you guys up. So if you guys want to start first, Mark.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw she's here too. Jaquetta, are you with us?
Good morning. I am.
Wonderful.
Morning.
I think, Jaquetta, are you presenting? Are you speaking about the incentives?
No, I'll let you do it, Mark, and then
Oh,
I'll
you
go
want,
ahead.
you want
Thank
me
you,
to? Okay. All right. So I know the last time we met, we did talk about the incentive plans. We did add a couple new ones as of November 1st. One that we're really excited about is tenant damaged reimbursement. Obviously, there's some criteria for this, but we're excited about that and trying to help with landlords during this time. We're excited about that. And we're also excited about a repayment plan incentive to help landlords develop a repayment plan with housing choice voucher participants and maintaining their housing and rent in the arrears. So we're kind of excited about those new incentives. Obviously, they are on our website for greater detail. We still are offering, and we extended the other incentives till the end of July 2021, as far as the rehab recovery, the lease up bonus, the lead clearance costs, and the security deposit initiative. So we're fortunate to have enough money to continue that. Jaquetta, anything that you'd like to add?
No, I'm available to answer any questions along with you just about our incentives, anything that we can do to kind of assist through some of the struggles that people are in, or landlords are encountering that they may not have in the past. So it's new territory for all of us. So we're trying to, navigate our way through it along with you. So if we don't have an immediate response, it's because we have to make sure, look at the regulations and make sure that we are following those that were not waived and just seeing how we can do this. We always are prepared because we're funded mainly by HUD to be audit ready. So that's kind of the thing that we always want to make sure that we dot our I's and cross our T's in regards to that. And I think at the last one, Pat Gallagher had mentioned about also holding, when we did roll out the participant responsibility, holding the participants responsible as, for knowing what they should do and keeping that up. So we are working on a video. So thank you for that thought. And that's all I have.
I would just like to say we are still in process of training Utara. I'm not sure why she's not with us this morning, but we're still excited about that. We have some things we want to do. We want to improve our landlord portal. So we're excited to keep moving down that path to help our landlords and our partners here. I know it's a trying time, but I think we'll get through it. Like Jaquetta said, sometimes this takes a few phone calls or emails on these incentives and make sure we have the right documentation, but it's definitely worth it. Once everyone understands exactly what to present to us, it's pretty smooth going. So that's about it for me as well, Pat.
Okay.
And-
Okay. Thanks, Mark. Jaquetta, I'm just kind of curious here. Have you, or has the department received more requests for additional help with participants if their income has went down? Are they reaching out to their workers to get a bump?
So we hope they are. So we have done a couple of things when we rolled out the landlord initiative. We also did a reminder through that media release that you can request for assistance if your income decreased. So since this started, we have put that through the media release, whether it's on the news and the paper or whatever means as far as sending them other information. But that one went out end of October again, just to give people a reminder. So we would hope, we didn't see an uptake as a result of that media release. We did for other ones, but we did not for that one. So I think people are getting it. But if you need to, refer anyone to myself, to Mark, or to the housing specialist, please feel free to do that. Some people may not ever watch the news. They may not read the paper. They may not open the mail, and they may need help. So if you know of anyone, please feel free to direct them. Anyone who's in our program, feel free to direct them.
Great. Yeah, it just seems like some of our clients, Section 8 clients who are behind, were unaware that they could reach out and possibly qualify for some more rent assistance. So,
And these are people who income decreased?
yes.
So the thing that's really funny about that is that's ongoing. That's always the case. The COVID-19 pandemic did not change that. That has always been the case, that within 30 days, if you have a decrease, let us know, and we immediately put decreases in. We wait a few months before we do an increase, but we have always done a decrease. So maybe those are new people in our program, but it would always work to their advantage to kind of report that.
Perfect. Okay. We'll definitely try to remind that, promote that for sure.
Yes.
Mark, can you?
Mark?
Okay.
Go ahead. I was just going to ask a couple questions. Thanks, Pat, for asking that. And on these incentives for the landlords, what is approximately the payout time frame? If we take on a new person from Section 8 and or if we rehab a property, I guess we were under the impression they were about 30 to 60 days, but haven't seen that yet. And if
Did you apply
not,
for it?
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. Go ahead, Bob. Sorry.
I'm just saying, if not, is there somebody we should be seeking out in your organization if we haven't received those yet?
Yeah. Have you applied for any of them yet, Bob?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we've got 2 or 3 coming, and I don't think we've seen anything yet.
Okay. You could always reach out to me. I'll be more than willing to take a look at everything. I have been doing that behind the scenes as it is now. So we do have up to 60 days, but we've been turning around in about 3 weeks, correct, Jaquetta? Does that sound about right? Three weeks?
So I'm not really sure. Once I get it, I submit it to finance. When Mark gets it, he tracks it, he gives it to me, I track it, and then I submit it to our finance department. So we generally turn that around to finance in about 3 weeks. As far as with they're turning it around, they don't respond to our tracking, so we would have to investigate anything that has already been submitted. So the answer would be go directly to Mark, and it's just easier if we have 1 or 2 or 3 of those pending. We can just kind of ask finance, has this check been sent out or cut? So I personally did deliver them in a batch with a memo on them for payment. I heard that they had been paid out in regards to it. I know some cases Mark did have to go back and get additional information. Some things were not complete. So it would, the date that it comes back to me is the date that it will start again. So just let Mark know, send him an email or whatever you need. We can investigate that and see where we are in the process. Right now, and probably for the past week, I haven't had anything on my desk. So anything that we have has been submitted to finance, and they're pretty good about turning things around. They cut checks on Wednesdays and so forth. So I'm not really sure if they're doing this at the with half payments or if they're doing it with mid-month check runs. So I can find that out because maybe that's the delay. But ask Mark, and then we'll go ahead and investigate the ones that anyone has pending.
Yeah.
Mark, can you give us your contact info? Email?
Yeah, sure. I'll put it in the comments here. I think we have a chat, don't we?
Okay,
Yeah, I
thank
think
you.
so, yeah. Hey, Bob, I was just looking at the tracking mechanism now. Is it under you or are you representing somebody else?
Napier Enterprises.
Yeah, I don't see that we received anything, but we can take a better look once we're off the Zoom. That's not a problem.
Yeah, that'd be interesting because I know I haven't received anything with Napier Enterprises, so I would like to know who the submission went to.
Yeah.
And maybe there's something we didn't follow in the process. I don't know, but.
You know, Bob, I do have a few sitting on my desk that just came in, like receipts and invoices, and or just the cover sheet, and I've reached out to landlords with no response back. So I'm sitting on some, but nothing for you. I'm looking for, more information, and I'm not receiving it, but I don't see anything in the database, but I will check with the other person that's handling the tracking as well, but I don't see anything at this point.
So
you can
Mark,
always
maybe
submit.
I could talk offline and kind of find out
Yeah.
who it was submitted to and when it was
Sure.
submitted.
Sure, not a
Thank you.
problem. Yeah. So, I think, Bob, did you have another question too? I'm sorry.
You sort of answered it before, but my concern was for our Section 8 residents that are struggling and that maybe, getting partial assistance on their rent from you, but they're not fulfilling their cash requirement for the rest of the rent. Obviously, that's a concern, and they should be reaching out to their housing specialists regarding that, or what should we do?
So
I
this
guess
is that is only related to us paying more if there's a change in income. Now, if people decide, okay, I don't have a change in income, but now I can use this as an opportunity to not pay, then that's a different story. We wouldn't ever pay more in that case. However, we would remind them of their family obligation to pay their rent. And also the other part that we're talking about is the retention bonus, where we would be asking the landlord to have a conversation with the tenant, have the tenant sign a declaration and go into a repayment agreement for whatever is outstanding. And we are giving bonuses to landlords who do that. And the main reason we're doing that is because we don't want this big surge of moves and evictions to happen. If you're happy or you were happy with your tenant before this happened, and this just kind of muddied the waters, and you're like, I don't mind it going back to the way it was, but I need to know I'm going to get paid and they're going to pay and RHA is going to pay. We're asking to consider the retention bonus. And then that way we don't have so much movement at a certain point, because it will be very hard for people to find new units when the whole community, not the whole community, but a large part of the community is all of a sudden trying to move, getting evicted. It will be very challenging at a certain point. And we just want our people to stay in place if both the landlord and the tenant were satisfied prior to this. So that's the kind of other thing. So if your tenant did have that decrease in income and they just haven't reported it, certainly they need to reach out to us. If they are just not paying and they did not have a change of income, then certainly they need to work something out with the landlord. And one of the things that happen is people have children and now they have more expenses because the children are home for breakfast, they're home for lunch. Some other things are going on. And so now maybe your spending has increased, but your change of income didn't. And in those cases, we don't increase our payment. But there's a lot of things resources through 211 that people can tap into. And that would be my recommendation to help supplement the additional spending that people are having to do. You know, if you go to the grocery store, you know, the cost of food has gone up. Everything has gone up. It's, you know, it's, if you get a haircut, that's gone up. So, you know, all these things are increasing, but people still had the same amount of income. They didn't lose it, but now I have to spend more.
You mentioned something about a retention bonus if we were to work out a repayment agreement.
Yes.
How does that work?
So we have two forms. One is a declaration where the tenant would sign and say, I am agreeing to pay this amount over time. And the landlord agrees with that. And then they would just, the landlord would submit that along with their signed sheet with them saying we're going into a repayment agreement. And I think we give up to $300 to the landlord for going into a retention bonus agreement with our participant as a means of opting for eviction. Now, if the person doesn't do it and it doesn't work out, certainly you can proceed with eviction, and we do state that on the form. This is just a kind of a means to kind of say, we really would like you to work together. We would give you a bonus to do that, as compared to say, you know what, as soon as that court is taking my eviction, you're out of here.
Okay, and that declaration of agreement, is that a form that you can make available to us? Is it on your website? What?
It should be. So Mark and I can make sure, and Mark can report it back to the group. So the two forms are already there. I do want to make sure that they are available on our website. So I do have to check that. The notice is, but I don't know that the forms are. So we would make those available if they're not.
Yeah, I can get them to you, Bob.
And the other part is, yep, if not, we can certainly get them to you, but it may be easier just to have them available on the form. People can print them out and just submit them to us. So if that is not the case, we'll modify that.
You know, Bob, the other incentive, I guess I should have probably explained a little bit greater. We go over it so much, I forget that we know it well, but the tenant damage reimbursement, you know, we're finding out landlords aren't as willing to make repairs. Or like you said, you know, someone's behind on their rent. They're not going to probably have the money for the repairs. I will send both of these out, but it's a one-time amount that we'll pay up to, I think, $300. Was it, Jaquetta?
I can't remember. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Well, it's a one-time payment that we can apply towards those payments, towards those repairs, which takes some of the sting from the position some landlords are in. So these are some of the new incentive plans that I think that are designed to really help you guys out and take some of that edge away. Obviously, Jaquetta has said it a million times. You guys are our partners. We can have all the money in the world, but we won't have a program without landlords. So this part of the CARES Act money is really designed for you guys, except for one incentive plan out of all of them. So I wish you guys would use them. We're trying to give the money away, right, Jaquetta?
Yes, or HUD recaptures it. So
Yes,
you might as well
exactly.
use it.
It's coming in though. It's moving along.
Hey, Mark, to your point with that, would a situation where a tenant does not report like a continuously running toilet and the landlord ends up with a, you know, $1,000 water bill,
Yeah.
can you do anything with that under this tenant damage reimbursement program?
Well, the incentive's designed more from we're out there doing an annual inspection, not a mid-lease, not an initial, and we determine there's participant responsibilities. A landlord could apply for this incentive. It's pretty straightforward. Basically, there is tenant responsibilities past normal wear and tear. I don't think we went that far in, Jaquetta, to really kind of open it up for all these mid-lease inspections, you know, and like what you're saying, but unfortunately, the way we wrote it was just for when we're out there doing an annual inspection. That's the trouble we're finding. So fortunately,
But the monies cannot be used at all for any type of utilities, water, RG&E, any of that.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Thank
if you guys had more landlords, this would be a great tool. It's unfortunate. I think if I was a landlord, I would definitely be part of this organization. It's amazing that they're not. You all set, Bob? Anything else?
No, I think I'm good. Thank you very much. Thank you for both being here. Really appreciate it.
No problem. We don't mind.
Thank you.
Jaquetta, anyone else have a question? I don't want to dominate this. Okay. Jaquette, I got a question, and I hate being on this whole negative spin, so just bear with me here. But if, so with the volume we have, of course, we got some stories, but so Section 8's not paying, or Section 8 tenants not paying their portion. Nothing's changed. They just don't want to pay. And we're taking some people to small claims court. If we get a judgment of award in a small claims court, do you want that forward into your office?
Yes, please. One of the means or the reasons that we can terminate someone from a program is if it is shown that they, well, you're not evicting though, right? So we would look at that one, but we would want to consider. You're just trying to get a judgment for the money because you can't do the eviction part. So we would want to consider that. But if that's not, first of all, if that is happening, let us know and we can send them a letter letting them know that their Section 8 is in jeopardy. Because at the end of the day, when this is all said and done, you still would want your voucher, probably more so now than you ever did. So let us know that and we can send it out to them. But yes, we do want any judgments from the courts, and those together can help determine if this person can remain in our program.
Okay. I appreciate that. And I figure you have a waiting list of people who want to be on the program, I assume. So if you have some,
3,558.
there you go. So if you have some bad apples that just,
Yes.
you know, and we'll talk about this in a little while about we're doing small claims court and eviction at the same time. And there's some pros and cons to that. So we'll talk about this. So that's good news as far as you can send a letter out and have a chat with them or whatever, let them know they're in
Yes,
jeopardy of losing it. So good.
Yes.
And Mark, with that program for tenant cause damage, that's only on annuals,
Yeah,
right?
yes.
Not mid leases.
No, unfortunately. I think if we designed it that way, we would be so overwhelmed with mid-lease inspections, it would be impossible. So at this point, it is only annuals, correct, Jaquetta? That's the way
Yes, what we could do is, so this part of it, we're able to create this program and we're able to modify it. If along the way that we need to modify it, then we can.
Mhm.
So number one thing is communication. If we get communication back from landlords or we're hearing things from our participants, then we can modify it. But what we want to do is help the tenant stay in place. And if the landlord says, hey, this is done to my unit and I know they can't afford to repair this and I'm willing to, we're more than willing to say, hey, let us help you with that payment during this time. So that's the intent behind it.
Thank you for that. Anyone else have questions for Jaquetta or Mark? In case they have to go.
Hey, Mark,
Yeah.
who is replaced Paul Lindsay now? Who's the person heading up inspections?
You're looking at
Mark.
him.
Oh, it's Mark. Okay. All right.
Good question.
So Mark, I had a situation which I was a little bit PO'd about. They came out, they did the inspection, found a few things. We satisfied everything. They sent a different person out. This is an upstairs apartment in a building of 3 apartments. He went to the basement and he found a chirping smoke detector. And instead of, like most of your guys now, you know, them either having batteries or having a smoke detector or me carrying that, I didn't have one that day.
Mhm.
I just simply said, okay, let me go to the store. I'll take care of this. Can I send you a picture? No, it was a violation. And because of that, and because it was the second time they were there, then I got hit for $50
Oh, boy.
in terms of a violation fine, because you had to come back another time. And I just felt like, wow, that's not working together.
Well, what's the address, Bob? And you know, you feel free to give me a call. We'll talk the details out and see what transpired there. But if you feel you're in that situation, always ask to speak to me. That's what my job is. So
He didn't even know it was you.
yeah. So now that you
yeah, I
know,
will. It was 3 Alberta Street, apartment 2. And yeah, just felt like that one was not necessary. Too much.
Yeah, that does
Too
not
much.
sound fair. I mean, inspectors do have batteries with them. I'm not sure what took place there, but
That's what I was told too. So that was also kind of another faux pas, you know.
yeah.
Um,
I'll give
But,
you a call, Bob, today at some point. We have your number in the system. Let me take a look, see what's going on. I mean,
thanks. Yeah, I'd love to resolve a few of these issues. That would be
yeah,
terrific.
when anything doesn't feel right, just just reach out to us in the inspection department, and they will connect you with me. And I have the time to go ahead and look at those things and try to determine what took place. Pat Gallagher,
Thank you again.
Could I ask a question? Is my microphone working? No, I don't think it was working before. So I had an apartment, so this is a 3 months ago maybe, that I understood there was make rent ready money for that I applied to, and I've never received those funds. I've emailed in the stuff a couple of times, I think, and I did get a I forget what you call it though, the $500 bonus for placing a Section 8 tenant, but.
Okay, what's the address and name? Larry, is it Larry?
Larry Turowski. It's under Parkway Homes. It's 1253 North Street. And honestly, I forget which apartment it was. I'll have to go back and check, but I can email you.
Okay. Did you send all this information to HQS at Rochester Housing? Who did you send the receipts and invoices to?
Yeah, let me check.
While he's checking, Mark, do we have something that we send to people to say this has been received and approved so that people know that it's being processed?
Generally, I am in email communication, but no, not by default.
One of them was Shanna Cranmer.
Okay.
Dana Cranmer, yeah.
And and there was another one in there too, but I'm trying to search my email.
Well, I put my email in the chat there, Larry.
Yeah,
Why don't you
I
go
got
ahead and send all that information to me again, and I'll review everything. And
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no, not a problem. But yeah, as this is evolving, yeah, maybe that's a good communication source. So if you don't hear back from us, then obviously So maybe we should be including emails.
Well, for me, I always like to, unfortunately, sounds like it may make a little bit more work just to say received, this has been approved, or received, this is not an item for approval, just because people may not know if they never hear back that it was or wasn't approved, so that they know how to proceed. So I think we should give some communication either way. Some of these
are coming in via fax, some are coming in the mail, they're coming in from a lot of different ways. You would think email would be the simplest, but yeah, I agree. I'll have to do my best to contact people.
Yeah, just giving them the even if you want to say what the outcome is, whether if you don't say received, if you just say this is being submitted, this was approved and being submitted for payment, or this has not been approved and will not be submitted, because there may be some people out there who are not approved, and we don't approve everything that come in if it doesn't meet the criteria. It sounds like you have some that are pending, and you reached out to them, so they should know. But anyone else, maybe they don't know if it's approved and have moved forward.
And I just want to say thank you guys for being here, and I appreciate all you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We like to hear that. I have to get off, so thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone.
All right, thank you, Jakarta. Okay, Mr. Gallagher. I think I'm all set as well. I just wanted to let you know there's a Pat Gallagher that works at HUD Buffalo, and it cracks me up every time I have to email him. I feel like I'm emailing you. You got 2 jobs, don't you, Pat?
Yeah, I don't need 2 jobs.
Okay. Well, thank you guys. And like I said, always call us. I mean, I'm in this position to do that. I may not have all the answers the minute you call, but don't ever hesitate. Pat, you know that as well, and pass that around.
Thank you very much, Mark.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Appreciate it. Okay, we'll see you.
All right, bye.
See you, bye. So we're on this lovely topic of collections. For those of you that have properties in the city as well, or anywhere, I guess, I'm sure your collections are taking a little bit of a hit. We just out of the blue, we're getting notifications from DSS that they're paying back rent on people, and $7,000 for one, $5,000 on the other. So we dug into this a little bit more, and apparently the guidelines have changed. There's a ton of money out there. So, and I'm jumping on a little bit, so feel free to ask any questions. But when an applicant or when a tenant calls 211, the operator will put them in touch with the proper resource to help them. There's like 6 different resources that Catholic Family Charities has based on the person's situation, loss of income, what have you. But there's 6 different agencies that can help. And from what I gather, if a person gets denied from all 6, they can go to DSS, and DSS has loosened the guidelines, and DSS will pay up to 5 months of back rent. Okay, so we don't have to sign any paper that they're not going to be evicted. We as landlords, we don't have to agree to anything like that. But so obviously DSS wants to keep them in their unit. So up to 5 months of back rent, which is great. It's been really good. So in the old days, before somebody called 211, they would have to get a DSS denial letter. They would have to get served a 14-day. They would have to get something from letterhead from you stating that they're going to be evicted. And then 211 can help them. But that's not the case right now. And Catholic Family Charities made it clear to us that they have so much money that they can't even spend it. And that's why they're loosening the guidelines on this. So if tenants have failed before, tell them to try 211 again. And 211 is open 24/7. So since they're very busy during the day, because as they told us, they're short-staffed, have the tenants call them after hours, 11, 12, midnight, whatever. Have them call late. And I think they're going to get some good headway when they do that. And this number, if you want to write down this number, it's 232-2050, 232-2050. If one of your tenants calls and wants to know a status, wants to follow up, they're unsure, that's the number for your tenants to call the CFC, Catholic Family Charities, for a follow-up status on their application. Because we've been hand-holding for months just to get tenants to call, just to follow through. And then, of course, they have to provide some information on their income and so forth. But what we hear is, oh, I called and it's been 3 weeks, don't know what's going on. Well, now the tenants can call that number for the follow-up, 232-2050. Okay, so that's another good resource that they can do. This is all good news. And again, as far as DSS reaching out to us out of the blue, I mean, okay, we're always learning stuff here on this. Also, with rent collections, our collections are down. We're in the 70s. We were in the high 90s. Now we're in the mid 70s. In December, January, probably going to be the worst, I would imagine. And then we got tax time coming around February, March, which will help. But before I get into what we're doing, does anyone have anything that they're doing that they've tried? And if so, any success with that? Anybody? Nobody? Nothing? Okay. So I'll get into the small claims court thing.
Hey, Pat,
Sorry.
Yeah.
Glenn's got something.
Yeah, Glenn Flood here. Bob and I are sharing a line, but I did have good luck with Community Center of Rochester. I received payments for over a month and a half from one tenant, and I have another tenant that is on their second meeting with them, but everything is looking good. So,
Glenn, what is that
Maybe.
again?
Community Center of Rochester.
Is that part of 211? Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yep. So.
Community Center of Rochester. Okay. We also heard good things about the Charles Settlement House. That's part of 211 as well.
So yeah, the funding is out there, and everything seems to be working. And I was actually got the check within less than 2 weeks after starting the whole thing. So, yep,
Perfect.
very positive. So, yeah.
And they'll work with you as a landlord alongside your tenant? Glenn, you there? Okay. Has anyone tried small claims court? Nobody? Okay. So I'm doing the small claims court thing, and apparently others have been doing it as well. So if you're going to file small claims court, do sooner than later because they're getting backlogged. I think they're about 6 weeks out right now. When you do that, when you go downtown to do it, you have to get paperwork from them downtown at the courthouse, and then you have to send your 10-day demand letter out. So once that 10-day demand letter goes out, you have to wait for a response back. And again, it's in the instructions. And then you have up to 6 months to file your claim. So I did that, and I've been so busy with the weather and so forth, I haven't filed the claims yet. So of course, when the demand letter went out, and as of this date, the monies owed are different, which is fine because small claims can make an adjustment with that. So that's not a big deal. So I'm going to go downtown hopefully this week, if not early next week, and file 5. I'm going to do the 5 at a time. But my hope is if you have tenants that are like 6 months behind or 5 months behind, I'm going to take the 2 or 3 early months and do small claims, and then take the 2 or 3 months most recent and do an eviction. Okay, so that's one avenue. And part of my thinking on this is this: if your tenant gets flooded with a small claims court where there's no legal aid, there's nothing there, they have to go. And it's just us versus them in front of an arbitrator. So we have that going on that can cause some stress and actually have them step up to the plate and be accountable. And then if they get their 5-day, 14-day and the eviction court proceedings start, hopefully that'll be enough to gain some compliance with at least half of these people, maybe a little bit less than half. And really what we want is, yes, it would be great to get a judgment. Yes, it'd be great to get our keys back, leave. So I'm kind of trying to, at this, that's why I asked Jaquetta as far as if we did small claims court and won and received the judgment, would she want that? And, she said, yes, she'd want that. So we're trying that. The other thing with eviction courts is they changed the rules where the tenants have 60 days to answer the petition. So that just prolongs it more. So we're really not going after non-payment evictions. We're going to go after lease holdovers. Okay, lease is expired, they're a holdover tenant. So that seems to be a better avenue for lease holdovers. So then it goes back to the question, do we want to do year leases anymore? I think I'm going to switch myself personally with my city properties month to month with everybody. And again, it just makes it much easier to get rid of them at this point. There's no just cause eviction right now. So we're going to do month to month. And again, try the small claims court along with evicting and see how that goes. I had a tenant that I talked about last month that took me to court for a water leak. Well, she took me to court again for a hot water tank issue, and she owed about $750 in rent. So to me, that was kind of a gift, because when we were served those papers, we could actually countersue at no additional cost to us. And so we countersued for the $750, and before we actually went to court, she paid the whole $750 off. Okay, so this is a person that is, she's a holdover, number one. We've given her notices to leave or going through the court system to get her out as a holdover, but we got compliance with the $750 in back rent. So when I went to court, the arbitrator say, hey, is it true that she paid? Yes, it's true that she paid. So, which to me is a win. And then, she had her hot water case that I don't think there'd be any trouble with that. There's no merit to her case. So, so keep in mind, if you do get served for security deposit or what have you from some tenants and they owe you money, make sure you counterclaim that. Okay, that'd be a good avenue to at least get a judgment on them, win that, or they'll pay the difference. So Also, you know, the cash for keys, you can't really do a cash for keys, but if you do some sort of incentive with tenants, you're going to get people that are going to take you up on that deal. Okay, so it's just a matter of how you want to word that paper. When they leave it in broom clean condition, you will give them a set amount of money. And again, that's going to help them be successful, because where they're at now, they're not succeeding. It's causing a lot of stress and pressure, and especially during this time. And if you can help them work together with a plan where they can go somewhere else and be successful, you're going to do that. And sometimes it's $500, sometimes it's $1,000, whatever the agreed amount is. And then also in that letter, you're going to put in there that the current lease is null and void, and they agree to vacate the property and give up all rights. And in doing so, they're not going to return to the property, have no reason to return to the property. Okay, and I also have, if you leave any contents in the property, it is garbage, and so landlord property management company has the right to toss that out. Okay, so you kind of make it nice and clear, and they sign it, you sign it. Some people want a witness there. I try to have them have ID, and I take a picture of the paper with ID, and they sign it, so that way their signatures match. Whether you pay them cash or a check, that's up to you. Some people can't cash checks. So that has worked. Okay, but again, you want to know your tenant. And in this case, really, we just have to get through the next couple months. I don't know what 2021 is going to have. I don't know what the governor's going to do, because that changes as well. That affects our properties. And so with that said, does anyone have any questions about that or any other ideas?
Pat, can you play out the 3 month / 3 month idea a little bit further? And have you been successful with one of those, or are you in the midst of one of those? And can you just tell us what's happening or what you predict might be happening? A bit more with that.
Yeah, I think the like if you owe $1,000 in rent, and so you owe $6,000, 6 months behind, $6,000.
Yeah, a lot of situations like that, of course, right?
Yeah,
People
yeah.
are 6 months behind at least. It's been since March, right? So maybe even going on
Longer than that.
like 8 months. We've got I don't know. I gotta believe you got it. Some of these, I know I've got like 6 or 7 of those right now, and it's totally crippling. Nobody's signing up for cash for keys. They're being, as we talked about the other day, basically they're saying, F you to the rent. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. And you can't do anything about it. And they've been served 600 notices already. And we just feel like we're at a gridlock,
For those people, and we do have a few of them, we do the vacancy checks. So remember, if the people aren't answering, you do letters on the door. You send a text and make it nice and short. You haven't responded, we're going to be over tomorrow at this time to change the locks. We're concerned about our property. They'll text you back out of the blue. Oh, I still live here, yada, yada. So when you do text them, make it nice and short. If you text a paragraph, hey, you haven't paid since March and blah, 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 they're not going to respond. So text them right to the point, nice and short, and then you want to get them on the phone. Okay. Bob, in your case, especially with the way the eviction courts are going, I would do small claims all day long. Go down there, do the application. Again, about 6 weeks out, do the small claims court. I'm ready to file on the 5 that I have, because I did the whole demand 10-day thing. And again, I just got behind in some work. So, but I want to file those. And again, my thing was, if $6,000 is owed, do 3,000 small claims, 3,000 in eviction court. But now that eviction court is even getting prolonged more, maybe you want to do the maximum of $5,000 in small claims court, forget about the rest, and then go to eviction court for a holdover. Okay, don't even mention non-payment, because legal aid's up there, all these agencies are up there, and you know what they're going to tell you? Payment plan, payment plan, payment plan. And when the people are dirty and they're damaging and they're disrespectful, the idea is you want them out anyway. So why do payment plan after payment plan when it's not going to warrants, the whole bit? It's going to be drawn into mid-2021. So I'm thinking, hey, do the maximum small claims and do a holdover in court. Okay, and
Yeah, I like that option actually better. I think that might be more of a winner given the times and now the updated circumstances.
Yep. So we had, Judge Barrett is no friend of a landlord, but we had a couple cases tossed out. The lady owes for a year. She paid a little bit of money, but since the dollar amounts were different on the initial petition from months and months ago and what it's owed now, she threw it out. It's just totally ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. Can't amend it and change it. But yeah, so for small claims court, I go right downtown to small claims court right on the first floor, pick up the paperwork there, and they're very helpful. So I think that's pretty much it. Also, make sure your attorney, I wouldn't do any of this on your own. Small claims court's fine, no problem. They owe from May to October. You put the amount in there, and as of November 1st, they owe this amount of money. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward in the narrative, no problem. You can file. When you go to court, obviously you have your lease with you, and then you have a log of any money that they have paid up until a certain date, and that's it. It's pretty self-explanatory. You don't need a lawyer. Small claims all day long. But when it comes to the eviction stuff, whether it's a holdover or non-payment eviction, I would definitely have an attorney do that, because there's just too many variables that go with all that. And the judges look for stuff and toss it out. So my feeling is the judges want to keep people in your homes as long as possible. And again, it's the same old story with the payment plan situation. And as we know, the people that do not stay in touch with us, they're very, it could be a little aggressive in nature. They're not taking care of our properties anyway. Okay.
Hey, Pat, if you're going to small claims and if your lease is in the name of Gallagher Property Management, or Napier Enterprises LLC, don't we need an attorney to represent us in that situation?
No.
No?
I haven't. I've been to small claims 2 times recently now. Probably be a 3rd time, because I got the trial de novo that she's appealing, the same person's appealing a decision. So I'm becoming a little expert down there. But as far as small claims go, I do it myself. I don't have my staff go down there. So no arbitrators give me a problem, because the leases that we have are in the property owner's name. It could be the property owner's LLC or personal name, but since that we're the management company and we represent them, I always have my property management contract with me. And if they were to say anything about, hey, you're supposed to be represented, I would say my attorney is busy, couldn't make it. But no arbitrators even brought that up.
Hey, Pat, could you explain how the small claims court helps? I've never taken anybody to small claims court. I just figure I'm never going to see that money. What's the objective?
Well, the objective is a little bit of yeah, we want our money. If they're on Section 8 and we win a judgment, we can send that into Section 8 in hopes to get them removed from Section 8. And the other part is to hold them accountable. Because for me, it seems like the people that are not paying are the people that are working. And they have car notes, they have Rent-A-Center, they need credit. So if you go to small claims court, again, I go downtown, I pick up the packet, the reception will explain how to fill it out. There's an instruction page. I believe it's $35 per case. But the whole idea is once somebody gets served that, again, these aren't my people that don't work at all. Those people are paid, whether it's DSS, Section 8, SSI, they're paid. It's the people that are working. So my feeling is that they're going to pay, or they're going to leave, or they're going to work something out. And if not, ultimately we get a judgment, and that judgment stays on their record for a number of years. I heard different stories, 7 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever. But that's going to hurt them at some along the way. Plus, it drags them in the court. So they're saying, hey, screw you, can't come in the house. They don't answer the phone calls. Well, guess what? Now they have to answer this petition. They have to come to court. Okay, so
it's just basically accountability, and that gives them some incentive. But has it actually done anything for you? Has it succeeded? Have you gotten any money out of it? Have people paid up? Have they left?
Well, I'm ready to file now because I did everything you're supposed to do with the demand. I haven't filed yet. So I'm going to file. It just worked with me when I countersued.
Okay, thanks.
Mhm. So I just want to get him into court quicker and have my day in court. And then also tell him, hey, just leave, whatever, work something out. So, and we'll see what happens.
Pat, can you elaborate further on the 6 organizations that are funded and involved with this, and certain criteria that they will help with, you know, basically a niche, if you will, per agency? Do you have any more insight you can tell us with regards to that?
You know, I don't. I just know that there's 6 agencies, plenty of money, and that initial intake worker will designate your tenant to the appropriate agency to get help.
What if they're not cooperating, or what if they're, you know, again, just, yeah.
That's I think that the small claims court is going to be the quickest way to get them into court compared to eviction court. And I wouldn't even warn your tenants, like, guess what? We're going to go to small claims court if you don't know, because we've already talked to them over and over, left messages and mailings and notices.
Right.
Forget that. To me, they lost that respect and courtesy. And it's just a weird, and again, a lot of tenants are great and a lot of tenants are understanding. And I also empathize with them because it seems to me, from what I see from our clientele, is the female has to work the 2 jobs, has the kids, has all those responsibilities. They're under stress and pressure. I get it. They're depressed. It's working both ways, and so they don't follow up on stuff like they should. So you have to stay on them for that. So it's just, I don't know. I just have this one case coming back to me where ladies on Section 8 owes 6 or 8 months of Section 8 payment, and DSS came in, paid thousands of dollars, and now she wants us to treat for roaches on a single family house, and she had a sock stuck in the drain, so we had to take care of that, and she doesn't want to pay. So I'm like gonna have a meeting with her and have a chat, and just, I don't know. I guess this whole entitlement on some people. So if I can get them in the small claims court, whether they actually pay, the entitlement thing that I think was created by just me, the whole government thing is give, give, give. So when you give people, that's all they know how to do is take. It's going to get worse. And that's why I even spoke to Section 8 about the whole tenant accountability, because it's great that they're going to compensate us landlords for tenant caused damage on the annual inspection for Section 8. That's great. But what about the tenant? And Section 8 didn't have anything in place to tutor the tenant, to have a counseling session with the tenant, because why can't you just give money? It doesn't make it all go away.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not going to happen again. So Jaquetta says, yes, they're going to make them watch some little video or something. You got to give something. You just can't be one-sided. It's like when we do real estate deals, right? It's got to work for both buyer and seller. We give and take. Put in outlets, do this. Oh, okay, fine, I'll put in outlets, whatever. But it's a give and take thing on stuff. Mm-hmm. And I just feel another instance. I go to multifamily place 2 days ago. It's a multifamily building. 2 days prior, the tenant told me she paid rent. I said, okay, great. I learned that was a lie. She didn't pay rent. So when I went there the other day, that tenant was around a few people, and I go, you're a liar. You did not pay November rent. She got all upset. What are you telling my business for? I'm going to have you arrested for that. I said, well, you know what? If you would have never lied to begin with, I wouldn't be sharing it. And it's just too bad other people are around, because I'm talking to you. Too bad they heard it, but it is what it is. And I said, if you don't like it, you could always go. So she's flipping out, called the office, sent an email, and then later on she says, I got to talk to you, Pat, but it's like, what do you mean call the police? What? I mean, just, in your business, I mean, hey, I call them out. So again, it's each situation, but it was a good time. It was a nice sunny day, and I enjoyed calling her out. So she thinks she's the mayor of the place and all that, but get off your high horse. Everyone's on their little high horse, and I got stories as if there's stories, people are not paying, but they receive SSI ×3. They receive Social Security, got a beautiful SUV in the driveway, and they're on a payment plan for $1,000 a month. Are you kidding me? So you know what? Bring them in the small claims court. Spend the $35. Bring them to small claims court. Let's see what happens. If we lose, we lose. At least we brought them in the court. They have no problem bringing you into court. So at this time, I don't know what else, but I can tell you this. I think the low-income housing, us landlords, once this whole eviction stuff goes through, good luck if you're low income, because if your record's not perfect, you're not renting my place. I'll let it sit vacant for 6 months. I could care less. All right. And other landlords and management companies, we're going to get stronger together. Sure, there won't be a blacklist, but you know, there's ways to background people, and there's ways to find out where they lived, even if they don't put on applications and so forth. There's ways around that. So because we have to get stronger and better, right? If we don't, we're going to get burned again. So it seems to be statistically the low income are the people who are abusing this statistically. And I think that's going to backfire another year and a half. So us landlords, even if you're private, small or big, you're going to get stronger. You're going to have more policies in there, and it's going to take longer. Even our process, not until I visit the house and talk to the neighbors. I actually interview neighbors. If that takes 2 weeks, it takes 2 more weeks. Oh, well, if you can't wait, we'll find somebody else. So, and I do that with everybody though, not just low income, but it seems to be when we look at our collections and where we're stuck, it's mostly in the lower income. And usually they have the money, because the ones that don't, they'd stay in touch with us. No problem. You want me to reduce rent from 1,000 to 500 because I can confirm that you're in a rut because of income. I'll reduce it to $500 a month for a couple months. Yeah. But again, you have to come to me. You have to talk. We have to work it out. I have no problem keeping you there through the holidays, where it should be 1,000 a month, and I'll take 500 for 2-3 months. No problem with that. But if you're not willing to come to the table, what good is it? So.
Great insights, Pat. Thank you.
Just my thoughts. I don't know.
Yeah, no.
And again, we have some, and as you know, I have some long-term low-income people, long-term. They pay in the third week of the month, been like that way for years. Am I going to say anything? No, it is what it is, right? We get paid. So, well, I just know our due diligence is going to be stepped up a couple notches. I can tell you that for applicants. Joe LaBarbera, are you here? Joe? All right. Anyone else have anything at all? Any insights, what you're doing, thoughts?
Pat, I had a meeting yesterday with a representative from Evans Bank. For those that don't know, Evans, headquartered in Buffalo, and they've bought out Fairport Savings Bank. But they're interested to loan money. They're hungry to kind of grab some business from some of the local banks here, and especially on the commercial side. Much more of an appetite there. Small commercial, medium size, up to about 15 mil. If anybody's looking for money, you might want to check them out or consider them as a possible source. And the bank that you work with, Pat, they seem like they were also in that same position too, or not?
I usually do stuff with Northwest Bank, and I haven't done anything in a while.
Okay.
I've never done anything on the commercial side.
Also, I should say that Evans is a preferred SBA lender, which is a real feather because like Canandaigua and most of the small regional people aren't. They have to filter those things through somebody else because they don't do enough of them in terms of loans. So again, just food for thought. I don't think many people have heard of Evans, and I was just trying to get the feel for who they were, what they do, some of the niches that they served, and rates appear to be very competitive, low. So
Good to know.
Just-
Commercial, good.
yeah, ended on a positive note.
Great. And also, just quickly, if anyone received PPP money for your business, we were told that we have until September of 2021 to pay the taxes on that and get it all in. So it does not have to be this year. But of course, talk to your representative, whatever bank you got your money from. But we received the PPP this year, but do not have to claim it or pay the taxes until 2021, the paperwork and all that good stuff. So just FYI, but don't let that go. Stay on that.
Hey, Pat, it's Joe. I was driving and muted.
You were
Joe
driving.
Lapapera.
Joe, you there?
Yeah, I was driving and muted when you called me out. I was trying to find my mute button and drive at the same time. It wasn't working too well.
Be careful, Joe. Joe,
Yes.
real quick while we got you, Colleen spoke a little earlier about the market. From your end of the spectrum on the wholesaling and so forth, what are you seeing out there? Still busy?
Never been busier. It's more and more stuff's coming in. We've got I'm sure, I don't know if Colleen, I wasn't able to get on though, but everybody knows some of the people are starting to want to get rid of some of their stuff. They're sick and tired. They know the second wave's coming in. They're like, we're out. And so we're just going to see how this all plays out. So it's, you know, the noose is starting to tighten on around for a lot of people, unfortunately. And we're going to see what's going to happen here over the next coming months.
So the ones that are starting to call you now, they're frustrated, probably not making any money and so forth. I'm assuming that you're probably finding some decent deals, and maybe those deals will get better later on. In the same token, are you having any issues getting buyers?
No issues getting buyers. Obviously people love them vacant more than anything else. But a lot of the properties that some of them are decent deals, but it's just a matter of, we got one lady who contacted us and was like, hey, this house is $30,000 below assessment. People aren't paying. And she thinks she's she wanted like $100,000+. And I'm like, I didn't even bother, cause she was just unrealistic. And then, mostly the D type areas. But we're slashing and burning the prices down. We have to, because some of these people, you guys are talking about it. We all are. They're not moving out. So, but yeah, there's deals out there and people are still buying when it comes to the wholesaling.
Yep. And Joe, I did a deal with Joe months ago over the summer, and I ended up talking to the neighbor. And she says, oh, my landlord is really old. You should call him. So I called him and bought that house too. And it just happened to be a 1990 built house. And the tenant that was in there, who I was speaking to, wasn't clean at all. So I said, you know what, would $1,400 help you? She was gone in a week. So anyways, that house that was built in 1990, that the neighbor house is where I bought from Joe. I was able to get the next house over, and turned out to be a good deal. We're rehabbing the house and going to sell that, probably at owner occupied, since in the 1990. I'm actually, I got two of them right next to each other, both 1990s. So,
You're
get creative with these people.
You're welcome. And I'm waiting for my commission on that. We have witnesses now.
No, actually, and the truth of the story is I overpaid. I overpaid in Joe's house. I overpaid on Joe's house, but at least I got the other two houses. I mean, yeah, get creative with these people, and a lot of our tenants live for today. just for today. So if you make it happen, get them to leave. I'll make up the 1,400 on the house later. So, but all right. What else? Anything else at all before I let you go? All right, Susan, anything else? Andy, anything?
The only thing I have is general meeting tonight. Guest speaker is Tom Zeeb talking about his rapid cash generator, flipping houses, more of a nationwide perspective than specific to Rochester. But he's got some conversation in there about wholesaling and other stuff. So it should be a pretty good meeting overall. He's definitely looking to get some more member signups for his Saturday all-day session. So let's see how he does tonight, and we'll go from there.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Andy. Everybody have a great day.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. We'll see Steve
Thanks,
Peterson
everybody.
next month.
Oh,
All right,
cool.
All right, we'll see you.